It's just pretty much saying we're celebrating people for exactly who they are. We all come with our own forms of uniqueness, and we shouldn't be disregarded because we think differently or we do things differently, that it's okay. We're amazing. Celebrate everybody for who we are.
Welcome to Rainbow Skies for Teachers, the go-to show dedicated to teachers who want to make a big difference in education. Whether you're in your first few years or well into your teaching career, we are here to inspire, support, and empower you with bite-sized tips, simple strategies, and the motivation to lead an education revolution, one classroom at a time.
We're Ashley and Alicia from Rainbow Sky Creations, two Aussie teachers who love all things teaching and learning. We are here to help you thrive as you work toward making an impact in your students' lives while loving your life as a teacher.
We are here to help you bring joy, simplicity, and creativity into your classroom on the daily, because
there are rainbows ahead, my friend, and together we're unstoppable.
Let's get into today's episode.
Rainbow Sky Creations acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we record this podcast on, the Dharawal and Whadjuk Noongar people. We pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures.
Welcome to Rainbow Skies for Teachers, and we're here with another episode, and I've got the lovely Ash with us. How are you, Ash?
Look, I'm good. I'm sounding a little hoarse in my voice today, so I need to apologise in advance if that is not something that annoys you while you're listening.
Yeah, you've been fighting the mini laryngitis. It's just been slowly creeping up on you, hasn't it? And then just won't leave you alone.
It just will not go away. I was actually picking my kids up from school and someone said, "Oh, your voice is still not great." And I joked and I was like, "Oh yeah, I just keep yelling at my kids," and it was a joke. And they looked at me with the weirdest look as if to say, "You shouldn't admit that."
I always found in my first few years, I lost my voice around like the end of the term because I probably was grumbling at the kids too much and just getting worn down. But hey, look, even parents suffer from first week back at school, like the busyness of it all.
Totally. So what are we going to chat about today?
We're going to chat about Harmony Week, which is a special event or commemoration that we celebrate throughout Australia during the month of March. It used to be one day of March, but now it's over a whole week. And it's to celebrate diversity, tolerance, and inclusiveness of all Australians. It really is a great celebration, I feel.
It is. It actually aligns with the International Day for Elimination of Racial Discrimination. So if you are teaching anywhere else in the world and not Australia, that is the World Day that it celebrates, which is March 21st. In Australia now, we've extended it over a week. But these activities and tasks that we're going to talk about today, you could use anywhere in the world. They aren't just for Australia.
Yeah, it's just pretty much saying we're celebrating people for exactly who they are. We all come with our own forms of uniqueness, and we shouldn't be disregarded because we think differently or we do things differently, that it's okay. We're amazing. Celebrate everybody for who we are.
Yeah,
Simple
and I
as
love that we're doing it in schools because we're building up that culture of getting to learn and know about people, because the more you learn and the more educated you are, the less
discourse and disharmony that you have in the world. Unfortunately, we are of the age where it's still a bit like, oh, don't go to that dinner party and talk about politics or talk about religion or talk about X, Y, Z because you might ruffle someone's feathers. And I'd like to think we're entering this age where we're becoming more open-minded. We're getting better at regulating our emotions and realizing, hey, that doesn't feel great, but that doesn't give me the right to rip into someone who might have a different opinion. I don't know. It hits close to home, especially if you are watching world events and you're seeing things breaking down and leaders coming into power that we don't want to be in power, but just realizing that we have to live in harmony. So let's make a time to celebrate and talk about it with kids, because they need to know that not everything happens in rose-colored glasses and that people do things differently. And you got to be prepared for accepting that it might not be your way, but it doesn't mean it's out the door and we should disregard it.
definitely. A lot is not in our control as citizens of the world, but one thing that is in our control as teachers in the classroom is to be able to instill beautiful values like this with our kids. So today we actually wanted to dive into some ideas that you could use across the entire school. You could do some of these just in your classroom. So if you don't have your whole school on board, that is absolutely fine. Or you could get together as a school community and create some of these lessons and ideas and learning experiences for your students.
Yes. So should we start with the mathy one? Since we love maths over here at Rainbow
Yes.
Sky. There's nothing more satisfying than doing some data collection or data collection. We have put together some little activities where students can go around and they can survey their class to find information about them, such as, do you speak another language at home? Were you born in Australia? Is your favorite food barbecue like mine? It allows that discussion for kids to come up with a series of questions that they can go and ask their classmates. But how do we make it more inclusive of the whole school?
You could have buddy classes that get together and you could collect the data from each other's classes and then create a graph using the data that you've collected. And when I say buddy classes, it's not necessarily like kindergarten and grade 6. You might have a grade 2 class and a grade 4 class. You could really mix it up. And I think that's a really cool idea, having one of those maths lessons that go across grades. Now, I'm looking at Alicia here and she just had an idea pop into her mind because I saw it on her face. So over to you.
So how often do we do it in Australia? Every 5 or 10 years we do one. So do it for your school. You could do it before leading up to Harmony Week and then present the data at your school assembly, or you could do it after and present it later once you've had all these special events during the week. And you could be sharing that information of all the different countries that are at your school or languages that are spoken or favorite dishes or just interests, whatever it might be, but something to be able to share with the whole school about the percentage of people from certain continents, their ancestry and languages that are spoken. I know when we were working in an international school, it was always really cool. Hey, in my class alone, I've got 18 kids from different parts of the world. This is the uniqueness. This is all the awesomeness that is wrapped up in this school. Yeah, do a school census.
Yeah, that could be really fun. I was just quickly Googling when is the next census in Australia, and it's next year. So
Oh,
that's something that you should definitely put down for next year. Harmony Week 2026.
yeah.
A real life experience.
Yeah, for sure. Bringing the real life into the classroom. That's what it's all about.
100%.
Now,
But
moving
yeah,
on to our next one. We're a big sucker for displays here at Rainbow Sky. Ashley comes up with so many of these amazing ideas that you see on the socials or you see in our store. And we thought you could use one of them for a whole school display. Tell us a bit more about it, Ash.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for a whole school display. I think they look great in libraries, in those shared spaces, or in shared hallways. Even I've done it in my own schools that I've worked at the school office. So they're around the office window, however your school office is sorted. And it's just a great way to welcome people, but also teach those visitors that are coming into your school, whatever your theme or what you're learning about. So we've got these little harmony hands where the kids can complete the activity. It's a little craft activity. And you could have hands from the whole school all together in one big display featuring some of those key words or key ideas that we hear about during Harmony Week, like everyone belongs, inclusiveness is important.
Yeah, I love a display like this. It just embraces everybody together as a whole. And it depends how creative your colleagues are, right? Get each kid to color it a certain color and then they make a big picture when you step further back.
Yes. Oh my God, that would be so cool. The other thing, we spoke about this a really long time ago, but we've got some free Harmony hearts too. So you could do this with our Harmony hands. We'll link that in the show notes. Or you could do it with some free Harmony hearts that we've got. And we spoke about creating letters out of those hearts to create a big word. So you could create respect or inclusiveness, and everyone's heart has then created that word together as the whole school.
It's simple, but highly effective. Obviously, I've seen these sorts of things done for other events throughout the year in Australia. So why not do one for Harmony? And I've even seen where people have put the little hearts on like little skewers and done a big display on the school lawn, like just for the morning
Yes.
or like at the start of assembly, just like a tribute. And you could even get the kids to take how extensive you want to get the community involved is get them to take it home. And in my latter high school days, my grandmother emigrated from Wales and lived with us. So you got family members, you got kids who have extensive family members living at home with them or in close proximity, and them taking it home and the family is creating it and we're bringing it in. Papa, mum and dad, look, there's your hand, there's your heart because you play a part in the story. of my story. So I think that's a nice one.
I think that's a lovely idea. I love the idea of putting the little hearts on skewers and putting it in your lawn, or even like garden beds if you've got those in your school. It depends on what your setup is around your school, but it's definitely something that would make people stop and look. And I think that's the idea. You get people's attention, and then we're teaching the students, the other members of the community, why that this is important and why it's important for us all to live in harmony together.
Yeah, for sure. It's always a nice one.
All right, so
Now,
next up is to have a read aloud or a book, a school themed book that every class reads together and does an activity on. So everyone in the whole school is reading the same book, and we recommend it be a picture book, of course, because we've got little people and big people, and never shy away from big picture books with big kids because they still really love them. And it just gives that sense of unity together. So, Alicia, we've got a list of some really great read alouds by Australian authors. Do you want to give us some of them?
sure, we've got This Love by Isabel Otter and Harriet Linus. It's just a lovely, it's got a rainbow. Come on. I'm a sucker for a rainbow.
A side note, This Love is a book that Alicia gave my children a really long time ago, and it's still on high rotation in our reading each night before bed.
It's a lovely one. There's two from the lovely and amazing Mem Fox. So I'm Australian too, which is a really great one of I just love how it's my parents came here from England or like from Greece. So it just talks about how Australia is made up of so many cultures. The other one from Mem Fox is Whoever You Are. And then we've also got The Hueys in the New Jumper by Oliver Jeffers. That'd be one of your favorite authors, wouldn't it, Ash?
Yes, definitely. Love him.
And then we've also got We Are All Equal by P. Crumble and Jonathan Bentley. That's just a really nice, easy one. It's through the storytelling of animals and how you're accepting the animals and their differences. The other one is I Am Love by Susan Verd and Peter H. Reynolds, and A New Alphabet for Humanity by Lisa McGregor and Daniela Sosa. I haven't read that one, but really would like to read it just based on that
No.
title.
Now I said that these are by Australian authors. That one is not an Australian author, but a fabulous book. You know what? We also have some print and go activities for the I'm Australian Too book. So if that's something that you think, oh, that would be a great book study to do across the whole school, we've got activities that are suitable for those little early learners all the way through to grade 6. So we'll make sure that we link those in the show notes too, because that would save you a lot of time.
Absolutely. And there is one other author who is Aussie, is Sophie Beer, and she does the Love Is and the kindness is
Yes.
and like change is, and all her images are so like inclusive of families who might have two mums or two dads or mum and grandparents. But just really lovely books.
So some great different books. We've also got a blog post that has different books for read alouds when it comes to Harmony Day. If you want to just visually see some of those books, click on links to find them. So we'll make sure that is linked in the show notes too.
And we just know how powerful storytelling is. So using a book to storytell is just so powerful, and it just allows students to connect with something that they might be going, oh, we're talking about all this stuff called inclusivity and respect, but what does that actually look like? And a storybook can present that to students so they can make that connection.
For sure. Now, there's something that we absolutely love, and it's called the Harmony Day Project. Now, this project is a series of little mini activities or little mini projects for your students to complete. It's for kids that are probably grade 3 and beyond. And we were thinking you could take one of these projects from the Harmony Project and implement it for the whole school.
Yeah. So why don't you get your kids, similar to we were talking about the data collection, but you can just tone this one down and have students completing one of those Harmony Day activities or creating a series of little questions that they can go around and start interviewing different people at their school. So such things as, hey, like, what's your favorite food to eat? And it could be of a different type of cuisine. At the moment, my daughter is saying she loves marmalade sandwiches. So obviously I've been watching too much Paddington Bear.
Yes.
And I sometimes just wonder, I'm like, what is with your palate loving marmalade sandwiches and mince pies at Christmas time? I'm like, oh, you little Brit, you. But it just allows students to look beyond themselves. And I think that's what Harmony Week is all about. Kids are very good at focusing on them, that it allows them to look outside of their space, outside of their classroom, and start to connect with people who they might never have thought they would connect with because they have a common interest and something that they can relate to. Because that's what it's all about, right? When you go out there in the community and you stop and you have a chat to someone at the shops, or you're at the park entertaining your kids, and you start talking to the next person, the person next to you, that conversation usually lasts longer if you find a common interest or a common theme to talk about. And that's what Harmony Week is about. It's about making those connections as well.
For sure. The kids could even take questions home and interview family members and come back and share that information with their classmates. There's lots of ways that you could get interview questions and add it into this whole school activity. I know I worked at a school that was really big in the community, and there was lots of different cultures in the community. We had some great people that ran a bakery, and I know that their answers would be really different from the coffee shop owners that really supported the school too. So there's lots of different ways that you could get these interview questions and get the kids asking and talking to other people.
Yeah. So what your year ones are doing to then like maybe your year fives and sixes, where they might actually go, hey, I've got my mum at home's happy for me to do an interview and record this. And then they bring that video in and they link it to a QR code, drop it in the cloud. And then that could even be on the display. Obviously, you've got the AOK from that person, and people could be watching interviews or finding out more information about, oh yeah, what is the story of the local bakery? Or we used to have a retirement village right near our school.
You took
And,
the words out of my mouth.
And popping down there, and the stories that they would have to tell of just even my stories from being like my childhood 40 years ago to what theirs would be now 70 years ago or 80. It's so interesting. I love talking to the older generation and just getting a perspective on how things were to how things are now and how may they look in the future.
Yeah, involving a local retirement village or nursing home or somewhere that your school might visit often in an activity like this would be brilliant.
And as well, you might even be at a K to 12 school. Maybe it might just as well being a bit bold and connecting with someone in the high school and going, hey, I know our schedules are really busy, but I feel this is important. Would your year 10s, like maybe an English class, has a free 30 minutes where they can sit and chat with my year 3s, and we can just get the conversation flowing and finding out a bit more about them and then finding out a bit more about us. And this sort of stuff is great. Photos for the school newsletter or to get out to the community, whatever it might be, marketing promo, but like actually thinking a little bit beyond just your school or your area in the school.
Yeah, for sure. The last one actually is on those same lines of looking beyond just your classroom, and that is educating your parent or your parent community about Harmony Day and why we have it, or Harmony Week, I should say, why we have it, why it's important, what some of the common themes are. You could get kids to create posters and put them up around the school to create that intrigue. Going all the way back to the beginning of this episode when we spoke about creating a whole school display, you could put that somewhere where the parents really see it as soon as they walk into the school to pick up kids. You could have something on the school gates. I know lots of schools are doing things like that where they're putting displays up on school gates so the passing traffic or the passing foot traffic can see what's happening. So there's lots of different ways that you could put that idea out into the parent community or the greater community and educate them about this day. And it's something that you're learning about in school, and it's something that your school values as really important.
Mm-hmm. I love that, popping it on the school gate. And we should probably say that Harmony Week, the colour of Harmony Week is the most delicious orange.
So think orange. I know my kids' school put up orange balloons, and there's
nice.
a lot of traffic that goes past. And actually the school down the road from them also puts up orange balloons and orange streamers. Look, it's not our most favorite of colors, but it is eye-catching.
It is, right? It stands out and makes you stop and go, what does the orange mean? And as kids can then go, this Harmony Week. And that's what we do. We all wear orange, and it's a way of us creating that sense of unity and connection and inclusive, and everybody matters. And you just hear the kids saying the catchphrases. And as we know, it's powerful. You saying it out loud, that hits your neural pathways. It makes connections. It does all those like sciencey, brainy things that we don't know specifics on, but it's powerful. Hey, embrace the orange for the week of Harmony Week. That's the moral of the story.
Embrace the orange. I actually had one other random idea that just came to me. During Anzac Day, another Australian celebration, Anzac Day in remembrance, we wear poppies on our lapel. You could do the same sort of thing with our Harmony hearts. You could get the kids to colour them in, perhaps stick to the oranges and wear them pinned to their uniform. And if you have the whole school wearing something pinned to their uniform, then out they go into the community. It's just they're going to get questions. And that's a really cool thing too.
It is. I like that one. So I feel Ashley and I have given you a great collection of ideas that you can use this year in your school. And you might even want to carry over some of these ideas next year if you're in Australia with the census. So just to recap, we had do a whole school or class swap data collection where they survey class members, whole school display, school read-alouds, pick a book that the whole school has to read. You could even do a whole school read-aloud at the assembly. Limit yourself. Also, then we popped in our Harmony Day project where students are interviewing each other and maybe taking that home to interview parents or the big kids in the school, in the high school or the middle school. And then also making sure that whatever you're putting out there in display, that you're thinking of it as an opportunity to educate parents, to educate your local community and make them aware of this celebration and focus on harmony. And the last one, create a lapel version of Harmony Week or something that you could just have it going out there and kids putting it on and taking that pride in it and also having that conversation with those around them, which is all what it's about.
Totally agree. I'm just here thinking, oh, we could create something new for them to wear on their lapel. I'm just adding work to our list. There's so many great ideas there. And I really love that we focus this episode on it being a whole school thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if you do want specific ideas for your grade level, we have a free ebook for lesson ideas to celebrate Harmony Week. We'll link that in the show notes. So all you need to do, if you click on that, send us your email. We will drop that straight into your inbox, which comes up with some more specific ideas for kindy through to year 6.
It sure does. Thank you so much for listening to us today. Wherever you are in the world, we really appreciate that you choose us to listen to.
And until next time, there are rainbows ahead, my friend.
And together, we're unstoppable.